Hey guys, so I wanted to talk a little bit about being a teacher and being a student. So none of us are perfect in our realms of teaching or being a human. No matter what advice we give, I believe that we are always a work in progress. I believe that no matter where we sit on the spectrum of our knowledge, there is always something to learn. Recently, I have been learning off a lot of amazing teachers, and the reason I do that is because no matter where I go in my skills, I always have things that are missing links. And by being open to the ability to learn and grow from others, I can close those links, I can prevent injury, I become a better teacher, a better human, and just in general become more knowledgeable. I've never believed in the context of someone knowing it all. Even a guru, I believe, is someone who is humble and who is able to learn. I remember when I was at my teacher training in yoga, I had an experience where my yoga teacher was explaining something about back bends, and I explained to them that I feel better in this context because of this. And instead of that teacher saying I was wrong, they said, let me take it away, let me have a think about it, and we came back together and had a rediscussion or another discussion. It was amazing. So for me, what I want you to understand is that anything that anyone shares, there is some merit, and it will work for some and not for others. That's why some teaching is beneficial for other people, and maybe you're saying, why does this not work for me? That is why some diets are useful. Why does this not work for me? That's why when we are going on our approach to health, everyone is different. There are universal things, like I believe that breath is a really important one that we can incorporate, all of us, in our experiences to make the experience better. And by working on things like our vagus nerve for our health, I believe everyone is going to have benefits to that. However, how you experience it, what you need to do to tap into that, to bring yourself into the parasympathetic nervous system, is going to be different. What breath you need. For example, me doing really fast, quick breaths or holotropic breath work, it actually brings a lot of anxiety to me. So that's not something that I prefer to do unless I know I'm in a really calm state. It's not to say that it's wrong, but it is to say that for me, I know right now in this period of time in my life, it's not for me. In 10 years' time, I'm a different person. I could retry it. What I want you to understand from this conversation is, firstly, when we look up to people, yes, because they have skills and knowledge, but never think they're perfect. Never think they know everything. Secondly, if you believe that you can get somewhere and then no longer need to learn, then you are going to succumb to the ego, and you are going to succumb to the ability not to be able to recognize that everything is a constant change. And in turn, what happens is a lot of times is we end up running into a hurdle at some point. For example, I remember when I first started yoga, I really progressed quite quickly because I worked very hard. I learned it at home and I was following the videos, and eventually I got to this point where I was doing some really cool stuff like I'm doing now, but my body hurt. And I was like, why does my body hurt? And I kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And eventually I decided that I didn't want to learn through yoga anymore these certain postures that I consider to be very skillful in their elements, like handstands, advanced back bends. So I went to some contortion trainers and handstand balancers that were in the circus schools with online teaching. And I started learning from them, and I found that that teaching was much more healthy in my body. And my body became much more available to do things. At the same time, what happened was I went to a level and then I had to regress. And I had to relearn all my handstand skills with these hand balancers, because what I had learned in the yoga community wasn't sound for this community or this teacher. I also had to recently, so last January, not the one just gone, the one before, I ended up with an injury that is related to overuse of my shoulders because I was a water polo player, a swimmer, and many other things. And I also didn't know how to be in a front body mover, like swimming, water polo, running. I didn't really understand how to use my back body and to open up my upper body, particularly my upper back, which is what I've been learning a lot lately. I thought that it was never going to open, and I was very much heavy in the lower back. It was a natural place for me to bend. But over the years and years of use, this injury, which is called thoracic outlet syndrome, came. I lost my handstands, I lost my deep back bends, and I still have some skills that I'm not sure if I want to try again. There is still some, depending on the level of work that I do, nerve issues that come into play. I wasn't even able to open a drink bottle or do a push-up with my hand 2 Januaries ago. It was debilitating. The pain kept me awake for 2 months, and I felt like I couldn't be a teacher, and I felt like a failure in my movement. And the one place I came to get a break from life, my movement, was not joyous anymore. So anyway, the handstand teacher I was using, I had to regress all of my skills. Now, bring myself a year and a half, 18 months later, I am redoing skills better than I was before, because I've had to recalibrate my whole body, including understanding how to work the upper back, understanding how to lengthen certain places like opening my ribs and lengthening through the front body. But I had to regress to progress. And I had support from other teachers, and a lot of people say, hey, what more would you have to learn? I have endless amount of things to learn. I am an open book of information still to come in. I don't think I will ever stop learning my whole life. The back bends, for example. I have been relearning how to do back bends over the last year and a half to make them possible again and feel good without nerve issues. And I can tell you, for the first time in my life, the back bends I can go into from a relatively low amount of warm-up, doesn't necessarily mean my deepest, and feel great. There's no anxiety or reservation. I can do back bends that feel like they are home. I always thought back bends were not really that comfortable. I still have areas like dancer's pose and things like that, particularly one side of my body is just like, hey there, that's not as cool as I like this position. But it feels like it's possible now. It doesn't feel like I'm yanking and pulling. The reason I share this is because we need to understand that we're so quick to judge people on social media if they give us information that doesn't resonate with us. We're so quick to think that maybe a teacher has all the right knowledge. I believe that we should learn from a lot of people, and we will be able to create our own box of knowledge to be able to create skill. I believe that every person has something either to teach us from them giving to us, or we say, oh, I don't like this, and we learn from within. But everyone's a teacher. And nobody should stop learning. Nobody at all. So I just want you to know that if you are going through a regression, it's exciting. It sucks, but it's exciting because regression creates possibility to new pathways that you never thought were possible. Regression also helps you to build foundations that may have been lacking. And I've done that with my handstands and my back bends over and over again. I also want you to know that if you are looking at someone on the experience and you think that they're high up there in experience, they are doing an amazing job for their body and whom they are, and they can give you lots of amazing insight for their journey. But at the end of the day, the insights you have to take as you will and adjust for you. This journey isn't about someone spoon feeding you. It's about you taking in the information and adapting and changing as you go. Health isn't, I think the biggest takeaway is health isn't a one size fits all. And health isn't I feel good every day, I have a ripped body every day, I have a skill every day. Health is, here is where I sit today, what can I do with it to be the best I can and feel the best I can. I'm really challenged here today and struggling, so this is the things that I think are best for me. I'm having a great day, but I don't want to overdo it so tomorrow I can't do anything. I want to moderate it. Health is, you will have, like me, autoimmune issues, or you will have bad mental health days, or you will have a sickness come into play. But the overall sum total of things, you are doing this. And in between, that line continues. It doesn't stop and start. That's what a lot of people do. It's either be ripped or not, be strong or not, be fast or not, do this skill or not. I have had skills come in and out of my training my whole entire time. I used to be an incredible runner and I ran internationally. Now it kind of is embarrassing for me to run because I'm not at the level I want to be. I still run well for most people. And when I share my stories, how I feel inferior, but I don't feel like a great runner anymore. However, I can still run, and that is still just as healthy as training at an elite and being the fastest person. In fact, probably healthier because my body is much more balanced these days. So remember, everything is a balance, a moderation, a learning, a growing, a pulling and twisting. Health is a mosaic of life. It's never perfection. Have a great day.